All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Yankees and Gravy. It's been a minute. I think it's actually been since like Thanksgiving or whatever since we've done an episode. But I mean, geez, considering how things ended last season, I didn't expect that we would be this inactive. Obviously, when I say we, I mean the New York Baseball Yankees. We haven't done much of anything. I don't know. You don't want to panic, and you don't want to be one of those impulse fans that are like, oh, you know what? We got to do this. We got to get this guy. We got to sign this. We got to spend that. But I think the end of last year showed us that we had some serious holes, and we had some serious concerns that needed to be addressed, and we really haven't done much. But I guess they have their reasons, and I'm a little bit concerned because you're never going to get the word rebuilding in New York, especially with the Yankees. You know, the Yankees are not a rebuilding team. But, I mean, there's definitely a money issue out there. I think I've heard in a couple of places that the Yankees are definitely over the top with the luxury tax, and they're definitely trying to get below a certain dollar amount, and they are not in the market to be spending any money. They're not looking to increase payroll. Now, they are the Yankees. If the right situation, a no-brainer thing fell into their lap, I'm sure they'd do something. But I'm hearing that the money thing is a major issue this offseason, and they're not looking to take on. They're definitely looking to cut salaries. Let's talk pitching first. I mean, here's the starting lineup as it looks right now: CC, Nova, AJ, Hughes, and Garcia. I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, the bottom line is that there's nothing there that really makes you feel overly comfortable. Obviously, CC is one of the best in the game, but beyond CC, it's all question marks, guys. There's nothing there that is 100% stable, and there's nothing there that's making me feel like, you know what, upgrade from last year. Pitching was a problem last year. We know we were thin. All we did was get a year older, it looks like to me. I mean, one by one. CC, while he was unconscious for the middle of the season, had one of his poorer, stretch runs of the season I've ever remember seeing him. Nova, I think he's good. I think he's solid and reliable, but, he's at best a number 2 guy. AJ, let's just move on. Hughes, I mean, here's a guy who has all-star potential, but also has complete shit-to-bed potential as well. In addition to that, every single year his health is a concern. And Garcia, I mean, what are you going to do with Garcia? Garcia's a decent pitcher, just a 4 or 5 back into the rotation guy that hopefully you can get some innings out of, and who can end up with a 500 record on a winning team, on a 100-win team. So that's Garcia, and that's a concern. It was a concern going into last year. It is a concern going into this year, and it's more of a concern because everybody's a year older. Overall, if we I think we overachieved last year at the end of the day. I think we all talked about, like I said in the previous broadcast, that we didn't think we were going to beat the Red Sox in the division. We came into the year playing the role of underdog. We ended up winning. Fluke, not fluke. You don't say fluke because it's 162 games. We earned everything we got. But if we overachieved last year, we didn't really make any significant improvements. What's going to happen this year? Not trying to be pessimistic. I know these guys who are in the front office and everything and are way smarter than me and know what they're doing, but you got to kind of think, are we laying low this year? Are we thinking about maybe laying low until the Killer Bees and Montero and this other catcher we got? I forgot his name right now, but the real good defensive catcher. We know it's not a good free agent market. Maybe we're waiting for some contracts to expire. Maybe we're looking to lay low a little bit this year, save some money, and come back hard next year. I'm hoping that's not the case because in New York, like I said, it is our birthright to expect to win a World Series every single year. But we'll see, man. I don't know. It's a little scary. Andru Jones is back. It looks like they signed him or are very, very close to signing him to a 1-year deal. Sounds like he could have gotten more somewhere else, but he really likes the Yankees. I think it was $1 or $2 million. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, Andru Jones will be back. How does Andru Jones fall off at 30? He's 34. I just looked up how old he was. He's 34 years old. I mean, this is a guy who was one of the premier players in the game, one of the most promising rookies. He was a thorn in our side back, in the World Series game. We're talking 96, yeah, that's ancient history, but I don't get it, man. This guy, I mean, who falls off and is over the hill at age 30? He played that one year with the Dodgers, he was done. As soon as he went to the Dodgers, he was finished. But who knows? He's good off the bench, you know what I mean? He's good in that kind of like, I like him to like maybe that Ruben Sierra role that we had in like 95 and like, the late 90s teams as well, that power off the bench. Hopefully he's good for the culture and he'll stick around. This is a huge year for A-Rod and Jeter, that left side of the infield. I mean, they're getting older. Jeter's going to be 37, A-Rod's going to be 36, and it's really, really going to start to be under the microscope what they're going to bring to the table every year. I mean, they're going to fall off. They're not going to play forever. There's nothing. I mean, it's inarguable that they're eventually going to fall off. Just talking about Andrew Jones falling off at 30, you're talking about these guys who are 36 and 37 years of postseason under their belt. They're stars. They're superstars. I'm hoping they have one more good season in the sun. Maybe they got two more. Maybe they're done. You don't know, but you just got to watch them. And every time they slip up and every time they, strike out looking or pop up or don't get to a ball in the hole, those questions are going to be out there. And it's a concern. These guys are old. What do you want me to say? They're old. Garza from the Cubs. He's out there. They're obviously putting him on the market. It doesn't seem like a money issue because he doesn't command that much of a salary, considering how, he's a high-value player. He's not commanding a shitload of money compared to what he's bringing to the table from a production standpoint. But it's got to be a trade situation, obviously. And it sounds like they want one of the killer bees. It sounds like they may even want Montero. They want at least two of the three, or maybe all three. And Cashman's not going to do that, and I can't blame him for that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's tough. A lot of people say, get these guys. This is a proven talent. Go out, give them whatever you got to give them, and get them in here. But I think that's the whole way of thinking that got us in trouble when we started keeping our younger players and started developing a core. In that 93 to 95 era, the result was 1996 when we started winning World Series. So I don't want to get into, selling the whole farm and getting rid of all of our young talent in the hopes that a, good, average to good major league player will come in and be the perfect piece to take us over the top. Because we've learned, between the years of 2001 to 2009, that we tried to do that. We tried to add a piece, a veteran piece, a proven piece every single year, and it just didn't work, guys. We gotta just, ride out the storm and try to develop from within and be less reliant on those. I mean, you don't ever not do them. You're always gonna sign people when there's people of value, but you're not going. You don't want to get into perennially giving up your young talent and having to start from scratch from a developmental standpoint, in the hopes that some of these, mid-level veterans are going to work out for you. It just doesn't work. But he'd be good to have, man, if we can get him for maybe one of those guys, and maybe another, who knows, somebody. You just don't want to give up the farm. All right, top 10 list today. What I want to do is list my top 10 all-time Yankee defensive team. In my opinion, based on things that I've seen, things that I've heard, things that I've read, my experience as a Yankee fan, my opinion on the top 10 Yankees defensively, position by position. Okay, let's start with catcher. Obviously, I'm going to go with Yogi Berra. He was a tremendous offensive player, but I think he was also the best defensive catcher as well. This is a controversial one. First base. I'm going Mark Teixeira. Donnie Baseball, up until Mark Teixeira, was our best first baseman defensively. He still may be. You can make the argument. But I just think Teixeira covers more ground. He's taller. He's bigger, stronger, more athletic, and gets around a little bit more. And he's very, very sure-handed. Donnie was as sure-handed as they come. Teixeira may not be quite as sure-handed, but he makes some more athletic, more spectacular plays. He's all over the place. So I think Teixeira is the number one defensive first baseman. Second baseman, a little controversial as well. I'm going Willie Randolph. For the years he put in, he was there for a while. How many shortstops did Willie Randolph play with as a second baseman? He was a staple there for a very long time, very reliable, great at the double play. Despite Bobby Richardson also being very good. Quite honestly, this is something that's probably a little bit more era-based too. I didn't see Bobby Richardson play. Obviously, you hear he was great. He had a World Series MVP, phenomenal baseball player, and a great all-time Yankee. But I'm going Willie Randolph. Shortstop, controversial as well. A lot of people will say Derek Jeter is the best defensive shortstop. I say he's the best all-time Yankee shortstop, but if you're going to go defense, I'm going to go Phil Rizzuto. End of story. Third base, to me, I think is easy. Greg Nettles. Left field, I'm going Ricky Henderson. Yankee Stadium always had a tricky left field. It's very cavernous. It's big out there. Swirling wind. It's weird out there in left field for Yankee Stadium. But I personally think, even though it wasn't the longest tenure as a New York Yankee, I think Ricky Henderson really made a name for himself and had a great reputation for being able to handle the left field at Yankee Stadium. Center field, Joe DiMaggio. Boom, done. Right field, I'm going Dave Winfield. Again, I think that, from a standpoint of being around a while, from a standpoint of, making some big plays out there and having just one of the strongest arms we've ever seen, which is always going to be key for a right fielder, I think Big Dave is the guy out there. Starting pitcher, a lot of people are going to say Mike Mussina. Mike Mussina was great. He was just fielded the position impeccably. But I'm going with Gator, the Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry, as my starting pitcher all-time defensively. And for a relief pitcher, the one and only Mr. Sandman, the Terminator, Mariano Rivera. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Please check out Yankees and Gravy on Facebook. Please follow us on Twitter as well. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Yankees and Gravy. Also working on yankeesandgravy.com. Some merchandise is going to be coming out. Hopefully the show picks up. I'm trying not to make it too boring, and I'm trying to be able to broadcast a little bit more. But, we got to get going here. We got to do something. We got to pick somebody up. We got to get some... somebody's got to do something stupid in a club somewhere. We need some action. Come on, Yanks. Let's go. I think... I think we're about 6 weeks away from pitches and catches. So things should be heating up. But either way, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you soon.
Would you hold me on your shoulder wherever you walk? Would you turn my volume up in front of the cops and crank it higher every time they told you to stop? And all I ask is that you don't get mad at me when you have to purchase Mad D batteries. Appreciate every